Hey y'all, get on up in here, get up in here. I'm blessing y'all with something special today. Hey Teddy. Hey James Setter. Hey Reese Cup. Hey y'all. Hey Just Dwayne. I'm fine, Teddy. Happy New Year to you as well. Y'all coming on through. Y'all must have missed us. This just a special today. I had something on my spirit that I needed to get off. Actually, it been on my spirit for a long time. I just didn't do the live. But today, my spirit told me today was the day to do the live. So I'm doing it today. Hey, Lawrence, because somebody must need to hear what I'm about to say. Somebody must need to hear what I'm about to say. Whether they're in the chat or they watch it later. And y'all excuse me because if I am chewing, because I haven't eaten all day. And I decided to eat right now while I'm talking to y'all. Just a little bit of something. And then I got to cook our dinner. But I was hungry because I ain't eat all day. Hey, Melissa. Y'all come on through. Get on up in here. I'm giving y'all time. Because I know some of y'all was shocked when that phone went off and said I was live. We gonna get into the meat and potatoes. We gonna get into it. Your spider senses was on. First, I want to give a shout out to the few people that unsubscribed to me and Tremel. We appreciate you. Because one thing I do know is that you will be in the bushes and you will still be watching. So whether you subscribed or not, it doesn't matter. We appreciate you, bitches. And I'm talking to the people that unsubscribed. We don't need you here if you don't want to be here. Always remember that. Hey, Monte. Y'all let me know when y'all want me to get started, honey. Because I'm going to get started. Y'all just let me know. Okay, Reese, that's fine. You saw it. All right, so y'all want me to get started? Okay. So we gotta go back a little bit. For those of you that didn't know, that my dad was suffering from dementia. And, we didn't have that much of a relationship. He called me here and there. Or if, like, when something happened to me and they told him, oh, your son had a stroke, he'd pick up the phone and call me. Which I had made, if you want to say, amends with me and my father not having a relationship years ago, because I've tried and he didn't want to, it's like he didn't want to. So I was like, that's fine. I'm not going to force somebody to want to be my daddy or force you to give me something that you're not willing to give me. According to him, it wasn't because I was gay. But then when I hear the stories my brother tells him that he says about me, it was because I was gay. But that's neither here nor there. Because, in all honesty, for a long time, I just couldn't understand why he didn't love me or what I felt would have showed me that he loved me. Because just because a person don't move the way you want them to move, I learned that from my husband, don't mean that they don't love you. So I'm not going to say that he don't love me. Hey, Miss Barbara. I'm not going to say that he didn't love me. But from my window looking out, I didn't see the love. But from his window looking in, I can't answer that. But anyway, moving on. So his sister, she would text me and tell me, she started texting me that my father wasn't doing good, that he was, having to be put in a home because he got to the point where his third wife couldn't take care of him. So she had no choice but to put him in a home, which is what happens with people with dementia. Because they start wandering and, they have to be monitored so that they don't just go walking out the house and end up places and don't know where they at, don't know who they are, and nobody can call you or whatever. So she had to do what she had to do. So, you know, I'm getting these phone calls of please, call your father. If you want to call him, he's here. If you In my head, I'm like, why would I want to call him? For what? Did he ever take interest in me when I was going through anything? Was he concerned about me with the things I went through? Was he ever there for me when I needed my father? So the answer was no to all those questions. So I didn't call. So I started feeling like I was being mean. But I talked to people, I talked to my pastor, and he told me I wasn't being mean. That I had every right to feel the way I did because I wanted a Tyler Perry moment when he was alive and well, not when he's sick and dying. Because everybody love you when they're sick and dying. That's just fact. And I didn't want to hear that. I didn't care. I just moved on with my life because he was dead to me a long time ago. So, long story short, my aunt was sending pictures and stuff, and I'm like, in my mind, girl, why you sending all this stuff? Don't nobody care. Like, for real. Did you use this energy to tell your brother to talk to his son? Did you use this energy to tell your brother that the way he treated both his sons was fucked up? So it's not just me. You treated my brother the same way. Did you use the same energy to get your brother to do right by his two sons? The answer to that is no. And thank you again. So I'm like, it is what it is. Hold on, y'all. I got to get rid of that. Um, yeah, that. So, hey, Medina. I had to move on from that. And, Trimel will tell me, don't be so mean. That's your dad. I'm like, Trimel, he ain't never did nothing for me. He ain't never did nothing for me. I'm telling y'all this for a reason. I'm walking y'all down a path for a reason. So bear with me, okay, y'all? This ain't my point. Well, part of this is my point. But I did all of that. Then months and months go by. She sends a picture, and I'm like, oh my God. Because he was skin and bones. And I was like, okay. So me and my brother was like prepared that our father was going to die soon. And there was nothing we could do about it. So me and my brother grew closer from it. We talked. We exchanged how we felt about the whole situation, about how he treated us, about how we felt about it, a bunch of stuff. So in actuality, we grew close from a situation that we both really didn't want to be a part of. Because like I said, he wasn't in my life and he wasn't in my brother's life. Well, he was in my brother's life a little longer than he was in my life, but neither here nor there. He wasn't a part of our lives. So the day comes a few weeks, what, in November. My dad died in November, and they did a virtual funeral because his wife just went and cremated him. My brother was a little pissed because he was like, well, what if we wanted to fly down there and see him before she cremated him? I'm like, look, if that's what you wanted to do, then I get why you mad, but I'm not even mad at it because it is what it is. And I was serious. It was what it was. So everybody was asking me, are you going to watch the funeral? Are you going to watch the funeral? Of course, I wasn't going to attend the funeral because what you're not going to do is have me sitting there and, oh my God, his loving son. And my brother felt the same way. We didn't want to be a part of something that we knew was a lie. So he didn't go either. Neither one of us went, but we sat home and watched it. So as I'm watching this funeral, I'm listening to them talk about this man. And I'm sitting there like, well, who's this man they talking about? They couldn't possibly be talking about my father because that ain't the man that I knew. They get up and talk about how he worked in a boys' home and he was helping boys find their way and become better citizens in society. And I'm sitting there like, the fuck? You want to help strangers, but you don't even pick up a phone and call your own fucking sons? Who does that? Like, I'm listening to them talk about this man, and I'm sitting there, and at first I was getting angry because I'm like, this is a lie. This they can't possibly be talking about my father. He can't possibly be this much of a great man in society and doing these wonderful things that these people are talking about. That can't possibly be my father. But then I got overwhelmed with sadness because I was like, well, why couldn't I know this man? Why couldn't I know the man that they all are praising right now? Why didn't I know this wonderful man that everybody is just sitting here singing his praises of how much of a wonderful person he was and how beautiful of a soul he had and how he ministered to people, because y'all know my father was a minister, how he ministered to people and how he sat in offices and prayed. And I'm sitting there like, well, why didn't I know this man? And then I started crying because I got really sad. Like, I would have really loved to know the man that they talked about. I really would have. I would have loved to know the man that they talked about. But instead, I know the asshole that paid me no mind. The man that just act like he couldn't get it. Like, every time we had a conversation about how I want you to be my father and how, you a little fucked up, Joe, and you just couldn't get it. You didn't understand. Nothing I was saying. But you can go to strangers and mentor them and make sure they're better people in society and all this other stuff. But for me, you couldn't even pick up a phone and say hello. So it started making me see things in a different light. Like, Tremel didn't understand when I was saying to him, who are they talking about? And he's like, babe, that's how they knew your father. I was like, Tremel, I get that. That's in at first I was mad because I'm like, they're lying. They're lying. They're just making this up because he's dead. They're lying. But when person after person after person after person is coming up saying the same things, it's like, well, I know y'all didn't all get together and rehearse this. So this has to be the man that y'all know. I wish I would have known that man. And my brother said the same thing. My brother, okay, give me some M&M peanuts. It should be on if it didn't go off already. And my brother said the same thing. My brother heard somebody get up and was like, oh, I called him dad. And he was like, well, at least somebody got to call him dad. I said, right. I said, it wasn't us, but, people didn't even know he had two sons. Somebody wrote in the comments, do you know he had two sons? And they was like, he had two sons? For real? He had two sons? And me and me and my brother sitting there like, so they didn't even know he had two sons. And I'm named after him. Well, I was until I changed my name when I got married. But I'm like, that was mind blowing. And 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 it's just, it's like, hey, best friend, it's like you feel sad because you want to know the person that they knew. Hey, Monica, but at the same time, it's like, you know, then my aunt who was sending me and my brother all this stuff, in my spirit, because they had pictures, they told me to send pictures, so they did like this collage because they cremated my dad, so they did like this collage, and I watched it, and my picture came up. And I'm sitting there going, they don't have a clue who I am, child. My brother's picture went up, and I'm like, they don't know who he is either. And then the picture I sent with me, my brother, and my dad went up. And it was like, y'all don't even know who those two men are with him. Y'all don't even have a clue who those two men are with him. You don't know nothing about those two men. You just know that it's him and two men in the picture. And it just was crazy. Now, my point in that was that though I see you one way and somebody else sees you another way, that doesn't mean either one is right or wrong. It just means that that's the way I know you and that's the way they know you. And it took me a minute to digest that because Tremel just kept telling me, babe, that's how they know him. I'm like, but how do you ignore both your sons and you go out in the street and mentor strange boys to make sure they have a better life? And then I said, well, maybe that was his way of fixing it with me and my brother. Maybe in his own fucked up way, him helping boys that don't belong to him was his way of trying to help me and my brother indirectly. Because I just, for the life of me, that just don't make sense to me. You don't. fuck with your own two sons, but you get a job mentoring boys and helping boys and being there for them and making sure that their lives are good, and you don't even know what's going on with your own blood sons. Like, where they do that at? Make that make sense to me. Like, I just don't understand it in my spirit. I don't understand it. I didn't understand it, and I won't understand it, to be honest with you. So I stopped trying to understand it. But now my aunt, on the other hand, this is how people work against you. They sit and they tell you, "Oh, your father loves you. Oh, you should call him," because that's the moment they want. They want it to look like, "Oh, his loving sons came running around him in his time of need." But you get up at a funeral, you don't even mention me and my brother. You don't even mention anything about us. You sit there and tell these little bullshit stories about you and him when y'all was little. You don't mention his sons. You don't mention nothing. You don't mention Ronnie. You don't mention Jozo. You don't mention none of us. Y'all just sat there. All y'all that knew that he had sons sat there and pretended like we didn't even exist. Never mentioned us, never brought us up, not one time. Because y'all wanted to make it look like it was picture perfect. Or that that third wife, her kids was the only kids that he I guess had. But you put me in the obituary because that's why I wanted it. Because I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure. And the way they put me and my brother in the obituary, I was like, "Oh, really? Is that how we gonna do? Okay, I ain't mad at it because I ain't got to deal with none of them people no more. None of them. None of them. You hear me? None of them." Oh, Uncle Mo, let me tell you something. And to be honest with you, I my father's a minister. So if he think he know he got to give an account for me and my brother how he treated us. That's a given. That is a given. That is a given that he has to give an account. I made amends with it long time ago. I told my father how I felt. I told my father that as much as I want to hate him, I loved him. I told him we were grown men. You can't teach me how to shave. You can't teach me nothing because I'm a grown ass man. Let's have a relationship as two grown men, father and son. That wasn't good enough for him. I've gone to my father at least a total of 5 times, and I've cried like a little bitch, and it made me mad, begging him to love me, begging him to be my father, explaining to him how no man on this planet wanted me down to him. And even men being gay, that's the worst feeling of not even feeling the love of your father, because now every man you run in contact with, you feel like don't can't no man love you. I explained all of that to him. I told him I went to therapy for that. I went to therapy for all of that to fix all of that in me. And that motherfucker didn't care. He didn't care. He stood there, "Oh, I love you, son," and da 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 da. And the minute he hopped on that plane and went back to Pittsburgh, it was like I didn't exist. And you know what? After the last time, I said, "Let me tell you something. I done did this one too many times. I'm not doing it again. As far as I'm concerned, it is what it is. God, I have tried, and I'm not trying anymore." That was my final words. So when he would sporadically call me, a lot of times I would ignore the call. But then in my spirit, I said, "You know what? I can't tell God how to do something. So if he want to call me here and there, whenever, you know what? I'm going to let it happen. And I'm going to answer the phone. And then you know what? If he calls me this month, maybe I'll call him next month." And that's what I was doing for a while. He called me every other month or every month, and I'll call him the following month. And then it just got to the point where he stopped calling. And then I stopped calling too, because I'm not going to keep trying to force something that's not there. And that's why I made amends. I made amends. My father could not die and not know that his firstborn son loved him as much as I wanted to hate him, as much as I have cried in his presence and told him, I want to hate you, but I can't because you're my father. And the sad part is, I don't even know you, and I love you. So when they sent me the obituary, I got all these pictures, child. And I'm looking at these pictures like, how the fuck did he get these pictures? Some of them was Facebook pictures that was printed out. And I'm like, how the hell? Who the hell? What the hell? So Tremel was like, see, you said your father didn't love you. Look at all these pictures he had of you. I said, Tremel, some of these pictures, I don't even know how he got them. I said, these are pictures from a camera pictures. Like, I don't know how he got them. He said, maybe your mom sent them to him. I was like, I doubt it, but maybe she did. I can't ask if she did. But I'm like, how did he get these pictures? So when some of them, one of them I know for sure I gave him. I know for sure one of them I gave him. But the rest, I'm sitting there like, how did he get these pictures? And he was like, well, look, he got a picture of you and your brother and him and you and your brother. And see, Joseph, you can't say he didn't love you because if somebody doesn't love you, I said, Tremel, you're right. And I'm not going to argue when you're right. I can't say a person didn't love me. And that's one thing I had to learn is that we have an expectation of love that sometimes people can't live up to, but that don't mean they don't love us. That just means they ain't loving us the way we want to be loved. And does that qualify for us to say people don't love us? No. They loving you the way they know how to love you. And either you accept it or you don't. And a lot of us have probably missed out on good things and good people in our life because they didn't love us the way we wanted to be loved. And we didn't realize that because they wasn't moving the way we thought they should have moved if they loved us in a certain way. Now, when it comes to my father, I'm saying that because he probably did love me in his own fucked up way. But when it comes down to relationships and people like that, y'all need to pay attention because a lot of times a person does love you. It's just not they not loving you the way you want to be loved, and either that is either a negative for you or something that you can get past. For me, when I realized that, okay, just because you don't do this, but you do this, doesn't mean that you don't love me. It just means that you love me in a different way. Because I was shown unconditional love my whole life from my grandmother and my mother. Like the way they loved me was ridiculous. Nobody on this planet would ever love me like that. So my expectation of love is like high. It's like high. When I tell you high, I mean high. Nobody will ever meet my expectation of love and how I feel I should be loved just because of how they loved me. So as I got older, I had to learn, I had to take that into consideration that everybody is not shown love the way that I was shown love. So just because thank you, Monica, just because I might go without eating and give you what you need because that's just how I am. That's how I love you. Like, I love you that much that I won't eat this right now because you really need this. So I'm going to make sure you have this because I can eat later on. You might not do that. You might look at me and go, "Oh, bitch, I'm not eating just to. I'm not doing that." And I'm like, "But why? If you loved me, no, I love you, but that's not what I'm going to do." But then I'm feeling some kind of way because I would. And it has nothing to do with me and what I would do. It has to do with them and what they would do. It don't mean they don't love me. It just mean they don't love me like I love them like that. To give up something for them the way I did. Hold on, y'all, because I know he didn't hear me when I told him to bring me some M&Ms. I know he didn't. I think that's his number. Are you really serious right now? Hold on, y'all. Hello? You got my M&Ms? Okay. Okay, this new phone is doing shows, honey. It's doing shows. I don't know how you Android people do it, but I gotta get used to this Android phone, honey. Cause y'all know I'm an iPhone user. I don't be doing this Android shit. But now that I got a new phone, I got an Android. Yes, but anywho, um, hey Trisha. Right, Melissa. See, you heard me say it. But I know Tremel because I could see what he paid for, and I'm like, wait a minute, my M&Ms didn't. I know my M&Ms wasn't in that amount. So, Lisa, yes, I have an Android now because me and Tremel had to change cell phone companies because our cell phone bill was outrageous. When we told them in the store what we paid for two phones and a tablet that's paid for, the guy almost passed out. He was like, y'all pay what? And he didn't believe us. So we had to pull up the bill and show him. We had to pull up the bill and show him how much we paid. And he lay him there passed out. I was like, it's time for a change. I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like I said, I cannot keep paying this kind of money. Lisa, what you have? I think you got that's probably what me and Tremel got yesterday, no shade. But I was like, child, I'm not doing this no more. Cause Tremel was like, babe, I'm not paying the cell phone bill. I said, no. Cause when the damn bill came, cause you know how sometimes when you get your bill, right, it's your last bill plus the current bill. Child, what I saw what the whole bill was, the last bill and the current bill, I damn near passed the fuck out in this house. I was like, hell no. I was like, Tremel, he was like, babe, I didn't pay it. We gotta find something. I said, Tremel, I don't even give a fuck. If the phones go off, they go off. I said, enough is enough. I said, I used to work for Verizon, so I know the shenanigans they pull. And just like I said, we had $107 extra on the bill that wasn't there the first time. And then each line was damn near $200. I was like, no, I can't. But then the thing is, our iPhones are almost paid off. I think we only got to make one more or two more payments to Verizon, and then we can get them unlocked. So I was like, Tremel was Tremel's idea. He was like, well, let's try Metro. Let's try, some of these little cell phone companies. But Metro PCS is some bullshit. They act like they Boost Mobile and the rest of them, and they want to run a credit check and give you an amount that you can have. And what happened to just walking in buying the damn phone, let me pay for a plan and go about my business? Y'all are just T-Mobile with T-Mobile with a little less. That's all they are. Is T-Mobile with a little less because T-Mobile run Metro PCS anyway. So that wasn't working for us. So he was like, well, let's go check out Walmart because right, El Manning, right, right, El Manning. We're gonna get back to that. I didn't forget about it, but I'm putting your comment right there so that we can go right back to that. But yeah, Metro PCS is just a low budget Sprint, low budget T-Mobile. So they wasn't trying to help. So Tramel was like, "Well, let's go see what the prepaid phones that Walmart have." I said, "Let's go." I was like, "Cause I'm not doing this no more. I'm not." And I probably got what Lisa got. Yep, Lisa, that we probably got the same thing. We probably got the same thing. Cause I ain't playing with them. I am not playing with them. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. The phone was cheap because he was trying to sell us these phones. I'm like, dude, because, well, he pulled out the phone Tremel wanted. I wanted a different phone. And I said, wait a minute, that's 5G? And he said, yeah. I said, well, if that's 5G and it got more memory, give me that phone. Child, when he rang everything up, it was over $600. I said, well, damn it, I might as well pay my Verizon bill for this. So the guy was standing there looking like confused. He was like, "What?" He said, "Oh, that's because the 5G phones is more." I said, "Well, you better scurry on over there and get a 4G." So I said, "And just get me the one that I wanted originally." I said, "See, that's a sign that I need to get what I wanted from the door, and not switch because I think something is better." I said, "Get me what I asked for to begin with, and then get him what he wanted from the beginning." I was like, and let's do it that way. So he did it that way. We paid. I was like, Tremel, don't it feel good now to have some money? I said, don't it feel good not to put your whole your whole check on a motherfucking cell phone bill? Like, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ridiculous what Verizon is charging us for two phones. But yes, like Al Manning said, just because someone doesn't love you the way that you need or want to be loved doesn't mean they aren't loving you the best way they know how. It doesn't excuse anything. No, and you know what, El Manning, that's the thing. As long as long as they are treating you with respect and love, just because they're not moving the way that you feel they should move, don't mean they don't love you. And it took me a long time to learn that. It took me a long time to learn that, and I'm sure I've chased plenty of men out of my life. I'm well, I'm sure I'm with who I'm supposed to be with right now. But I'm sure I've chased good men out of my life because it was like, you don't love me. You don't love me. I don't care what you say, you don't love me. And they'll be like, well, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? Da 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 da. I'm like, you don't love me. You don't want me. Because if you love me, you would do this. And if you love me, you would act like this. And if you love me, you know, because in my mind, they don't, they're not moving the way I want them to move. They're not moving the way I want them to move. That's right. Scurry on over there. They're not moving the way I want them to move. And they need to, I had to learn that that doesn't mean that you don't love me. That just means that you're not loving me the way my version of love, but it doesn't mean. Now, if somebody treating you like dirt and treating you bad and verbally abusing you, then of course that's not love in any. I don't care what that is. That just ain't love. But like I said, if you need an example, just because you may need a bouquet of flowers and they bring you one rose as opposed to 12, there are people petty like that. They'll say, you don't love me because if you love me, you would have brought me 12 roses, but you only brought me one. And the sign that you brought me one means you don't love me. And that's not true. That is so not true. You can't have your expectation of love can't be forced. Thank you, babe. Your expectation of love can't be forced on a person. And I learned that with Tremel. I ain't even gonna lie. I had to learn that with Tremel big time. Cause honey, my husband does not love me the way that I feel that I should be loved. He don't. I ain't even gonna sit here and lie to y'all. Tramel don't love me my version of love. Tramel loves me the best way he knows how, the way he feels that he shows me love.
I said it.
And I had to learn that in the beginning, it was pissing me off. In the beginning, before we got married, I was like, oh my God, how can I marry him? He don't love me. He's not doing this. He's not moving like this. He's not saying these things. He don't love me. How am I going to marry somebody that don't love me? I'm being stupid. I'm being dumb. And then that's when I had to realize, well, wait a minute, bitch. Listen to Tramel's story. Listen to the things that have happened to Tramel in his life. He don't know love the way you know love. So the way y'all love is to honey, listening to Tramel's story, I swear to God, I'm amazed that he even wants to love somebody. And that's just being honest. Because I don't I've told him this before. I don't know how he still is capable of loving. So once I thought about all of that and took all of that into consideration, it was easier for ooh, I like this. It was easier for me to it was easy what that ain't right. It was easier for me to accept it as is, as opposed to me trying to make it what I wanted it to be. Because as is wasn't bad. It wasn't like he was mistreating me. It wasn't like it was abuse. It wasn't like, I wasn't getting what I wanted. I just wasn't getting what I wanted the way that I wanted it. And that became the problem. Like that became the problem for me because I wasn't getting it the way that I wanted it. But that don't mean that it was wrong. That don't mean that it wasn't what it is. It just mean I wasn't getting it the way that I wanted to get it. So y'all gotta figure that out for yourselves and realize that just because a person ain't doing what you want them to do, don't mean they don't love it. Well, some of y'all, honey, y'all don't even have high expectation for love, child. Just looking at some of the people y'all deal with, honey.
Most people don't have a high expectation because they just choose to settle.
Right. But even in settling, sometimes you still have that expectation that this person, if I show them love,
Yeah, you have a type.
they'll love me back.
Right.
But when they don't love you back the way that you feel you deserve to be
But
loved.
then, if you do that, then your love is based on assumption because you assume that this person's gonna love you the way you need to be
Right.
loved. So
Exactly.
it's based on an assumption. You don't want to have a relationship based on I'm assuming that he loves me.
Right.
That don't work
Right.
because you might assume, although you might assume that he loves you, he not loving you the way you want to love him. Then he's really gonna frustrate you.
But like you said, babe, remember how we was talking and you was like, I always wanted somebody to love me unconditionally.
Yeah.
And I never had that until I met you and da
Right.
da da da.
Uh-huh.
So you had an expectation of love. But when you didn't find it, you was willing to settle with what you had because it
Right.
was what it
Because I
was.
wanted to see what it would blossom into. Because love for me has always been
Right.
organic. It's always been very, very organic. So I would say, this is how I want this person to love me. They're not showing me this, but let's see how this goes. Because sometimes it goes in a way in which it's not necessarily that you're settling. It's just that your rendition or your interpretation of love at that time is different.
Right.
It's just different.
And then you either get to the point where you like, well, I'm just never gonna find it and be by myself,
Yeah.
or you sit back and
Been there.
evaluate. See, me, I sat back and evaluated. I said, you know what? I can't always say it's everybody else. Like it can't. In my mind, I was like, it can't just always be everybody else. I got to be doing something wrong. It got to be the men that I'm picking. It got to be something about me is picking the wrong people, or the wrong people is picking on me for whatever
You're
reason.
attracting them.
Right. I'm like, something ain't right. And I got to figure it out. Because I'm not going to sit and blame everybody. If everybody treat me the same way, clearly I'm picking the same kind of man. I'm running after the same type of needy ass man, and I need to fix that. And that's what I did. And that's when I realized You know what, bitch? Your expectation of love is a little high, girl. You know love like other people don't know love, and you're never gonna get that kind of love that your mother and grandmother gave you. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. It's not. And once I realized that, it became easy. It became real easy to see that people liked me. Cause child, if you didn't move the way I wanted you to move, I'd say you didn't even like me. I would go as petty as to say, "Oh, they don't even like me, child. They just tolerate me. They want to be around me for a reason." Like that's how bad it was. So it just, communication is very important. Yes, communication is very important. And like El Manning said, you got to pay attention to red flags. If a person tell you they've watched their parents fight all the time, that's a red flag because you know that's what they gonna do. And another red flag for you women, if a man don't treat his mama right, he damn sure ain't gonna treat you right. If he don't treat his mama right with love and respect, run like hell. Cause he is not gonna treat you right.
Right.
El Manning, I believe that. You have to teach someone how to love you sometimes. Everyone has their currency, but I've done a lot of work on myself. It's easy for me to tell you what I want and need now. Right. Once you get into that space, because see, there's a lot of people, I'm not teaching them nothing. They should already know. How they already know? We date thousands of people, hundreds of people. Well, I mean, that's being extreme, but people date a lot of people. People come and go out of people's lives. You can't base a person should know how, you know, to treat you when they don't even know you.
You teach people how to treat
And
you.
everybody's, you want that? And everybody's, as they say, love language is different.
You have to teach people how to treat you.
You're right. You have to teach people how to treat you. Because if you sit back and just let them do whatever the fuck they want, you the fool.
Yeah, because they can do whatever they want.
Because, right, they're going to do whatever they want. They're going to treat you any old kind of way. If you don't
But if you say, no, you're not going to treat me like that.
show them, if you don't show, El Manny, I agree. Some of these mothers need to be treated like shit. I ain't even gonna lie, cause they ain't shit. They treat their kids like dirt. And like I said about my father, honey, the minute they start dying, all of a sudden they love you and you the best thing that ever happened. I can't. I just couldn't do that with my father. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. I just no. When I wanted you to love me, when you was up and well, you chose not to do that. You chose not to give me what I wanted. So I'm not giving you your little on your dying bed moment, your Tyler Perry moment, come to Jesus moment. And I'm not. No, no. You could have had that when you was alive and well. You chose not to have that. So you know, I don't. I don't. It is what it is. People don't stop to think that far in advance. People don't stop to think that one day the same kids that you gave to kiss your ass when you was well and they was well and y'all was all moving, them same kids that you gave to kiss your ass is them same kids that's going to either have to take care of your old ass or leave your old ass in a room some motherfucking place with some nurses and don't never come see your ass because you made it that way. That's the part that people don't think about. That's the part that don't never hit them in the head. That one day I'm gonna get old and my kids might have to take care of me. So let me treat them right now, so that when I get old, they want to treat me good. They want to take care of me the way I took care of them when they was little. Cause see, that's where it all goes back to. That's where your mind clicks back to. Well, when I was a little kid, the bitch left me in the room crying. So fuck her. I'll leave her in the nursing home. I mean, that's just real. Like, that's real. All your kids ain't gonna treat you like that because you always got that one that feels sorry. But the majority of them are gonna be like, well, bitch, remember when? Well, I'll come see you once a month. That should be enough. I have a life to live, girl. Remember when you was up and well and used to leave us in the house? and go partying with your little friends, honey, getting high and coked out back in the 70s and left us by ourselves to fend for ourselves. Well, girl, now fend for yourself. You know what, Lisa? I ain't mad at, like, with my father, I'm not mad. Because, like I said, I made my peace. He died knowing that I loved him, regardless of whatever. I loved him. And I made sure I'm a person that when people in my life die, one thing I don't have is regrets. Because if I love you, I tell you I love you. I give you your flowers when you're alive. I want to have fun with you while you're well. I want to be able to have memories of you when you're gone, of having a good, like my with my mom, like I just have good memories of her. I and me and my sister talked about this like a week ago. The only regret I have is that the day before my mother, she probably died that night, but really it was like a week later. But the day before she got comatose and couldn't talk no more, I called her. And a bunch of people had walked in her hospital room, and she was laughing and joking. And she said, Joe, oh, they just got here. Can you call me back later? And I said, yes. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I was doing, but I didn't call her back. And then the next day is when everything went haywire, and I was never able to have a conversation with my mother again. So, yes, it warms my heart that the last time I heard her was laughing and having a good time, but it bothers me because I didn't pick up the phone and call her back. But at the end of the day, she know I loved her. I told her all the time, like, it is what it is. I don't have a regret as far as my mom or my dad because I told him how I felt. Now, my brother, on the other hand, he wasn't as verbal as me. He never told him that he loved him. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm going based on conversations him and I had. We did things different. So for me, he knew how I felt. For my brother, I don't think he knew how my brother felt. And it bothered him a little bit because he never told him how he felt. And it's too late now because you can't do it now. But, I just think that people people need to learn how to right, Manny. See, that's how I feel. I mourned my father years before he died. Like, I he was dead to me, and not in the physical sense, but the relationship, I should say, was dead to me before he was dead. That's a better way to put it. Our relationship was dead to me before he was dead. So it made it easy for me to say, I'm not coming to the funeral. No, I'm not calling him. No, I didn't want him to suffer. I don't want nobody to suffer. When I saw the picture of him looking skeletal, I felt bad. That was my dad. Like, I didn't want to see him like that. I don't want, and I even told Tramel, I said, look at my father. I said, I don't want him to suffer. I said, but there's still a part of me that don't care. I was like, because if it was me in that position, he wouldn't have came to see me. He wouldn't have been at my side. He might have called me, but I didn't feel it in my spirit to call him. I didn't. I didn't. And I wasn't being mean. It was just that, I was done with the situation. So, and then, on the flip side of that, you got to watch people because people will sit there and try to set you up and make you feel bad to give them what they want. Like my aunt, she want to send pictures and I thought you might want this and da 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 da. But then your whole bitch ass get up at the funeral and you don't even mention me and my brother. You don't even bring up the fact that your brother had two sons. But yet you want to send text messages and shit. Oh, your father loves you. Oh, your father this. Oh, your father that. But then when you have an opportunity to put us in the light, to shine a light on us, you just pay it. See, those are the people you really need to be wary of. The fake ones that want to sit in your motherfucking face and play and play in your motherfucking face. And then when it's time for them to step up, they ain't nothing but a little snake in the grass. Cause all they wanted you to do was move the way they wanted you to move to give the world a show. I wasn't giving them no show. I'm not stupid. I know the show they was looking for me to give. Well, I wasn't giving it. It wasn't gonna happen. No, honey, you don't get a show out of me, honey. You can do a show like you did when you stood up there and pretended like we didn't exist, honey. But you won't get a show out of me. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ham. And y'all need to also watch out for bitches that run their motherfucking mouth too much. Because them are some more bitches that you need to watch out for. Bitches that want to sit and tell you everybody business. Because if they telling you everybody business, guess what they doing to you? Telling your motherfucking business. It's just that simple. Shout out to all y'all in the chat, honey. I got a lot of people in this chat tonight. Shout out to the bitches in the bushes, honey, because I know all y'all ain't in here commenting. So shout out to the bitches in the bushes. I'm sure three of y'all is the bitches that unsubscribed from me and Tremel, and y'all watching. So I'm glad y'all watching because it counts. I'm glad y'all watching because it counts. You know, we ain't mad. See what I said? As soon as I said it, one bitch dropped out the bush. See, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about, y'all. Up, there go two more. You see? I know how to get rid of the bitches in the bushes, and there was three people that unsubscribed. And them same three bitches just dropped up out the motherfucking chat. That's right. I know you was there, bitch. I knew you was there, bitch. I knew you was. I don't know why you laugh. You got the fever for the flavor of the McCrae's, darling. It is what it is. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yes, honey. Snakes in that bush, bitch. You gotta watch out for them snakes in the bushes, honey. Cause there's a lot of snakes in the bushes, honey. And me and Tremel burned our grass, honey. We burned the grass for 2022. So we got rid of all our snakes, honey.
No more snakes in the can.
Ain't no more snakes in the grass. We both got new phone numbers, honey. So whoever don't get the new number, it wasn't meant for you to have, bitch. And you won't be getting it. I text everybody that needed it, I believe. And if I didn't, I will be going through my phone because it didn't transfer. Because I ain't try to transfer iPhone to Android shit. I wasn't doing all of that. I put my numbers in individually, honey, because there's just certain people I don't need in my phone no more. And I wasn't transferring everybody, honey. So most of y'all got a text from the old number because it's still working saying, please save my new number. Saying, please save my new number. Hey, uncle. Saying, please save my new number, honey. So if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, oh well. But most of y'all in here that had the old number, you got the new number. Most of y'all that got, yeah, actually everybody in here that had the old number got the new number. To tell you the truth, just looking at my list, I text all of y'all the new number. And some of y'all, Medina Jaden, didn't respond back to let me know that you got the text. But yeah. Y'all, that's all I have for today. That is all I have for today, y'all. That was just in my spirit because I just, it was amazing to me to hear all these wonderful things about my father. And I just didn't know that person. Like, I didn't know who the hell they was talking. I thought I had went into the wrong Facebook funeral, honey. I said, well, who's this man they talking about? He sound like somebody that I might want to get to know. What kind of pastor was he? Oh, y'all talk about my daddy. Trisha, you don't even want to know. So by me saying you don't want to know, you already know. Okay, Medina. I got you. Don't be giving me your middle finger. Trisha said, what is Tramel smoking on? She done heard you all the way from over there. I said, child, mm-mm. El Manny, yes, best friend. Did we win some money in Vegas? I saw y'all talking about it, but I didn't read it. El man, the best friend that we win some money. Best friend, happy birthday. We told you happy birthday in a live on New Year's. I was no, it was the day before New Year's when we went live. We said happy birthday to you. We know you wasn't in the chat. You was in Vegas, but we wanted to say happy birthday just in case you watched when you came back. But yes, there is a video telling you happy birthday. I didn't forget about you, boo. I didn't forget about you. And Melissa, your birthday is Melissa. Tell me one more time when your birthday is. Please don't tell me it passed. I know it's coming up. It's either coming up or it passed. And if it passed, I'm gonna be mad. Hey, Shorty's World, I have not seen you in a long time. Oh, best friend, I might have to give you my address and my new phone number. Woo, I'm gonna have to give you my phone number and my address because it's nice and cold, so they won't melt. Okay, Melissa. So your birthday is in a couple of days. Okay, I will not forget. I did say you, huh? I'm lost at the text I got, but I'm lost. But okay, but I did say you after the fact. Well, best friend, if I ain't mad at you. You ain't win no money, but you smuggled back some edibles. That's what's up. That's what's a matter of fact, best friend. I'm gonna send you an email because I'm thinking that I might want to do that for my anniversary, and I need to know what's a good place to stay. Really, because I actually wanna do a cruise, but right now with this coronavirus, that ain't feasible. I want to do something because we haven't done anything for our anniversary, and this year we're doing something. Even if I have to just go to a hotel and stay for the weekend, that's what we doing. We doing something for our anniversary. Yeah, she said Emma Peel going too. If I go to Vegas, you know Emma Peel going. Okay. Emma Peel ain't letting me go to Vegas by myself. Yeah, see, I need to know some information because it's either going to be Vegas. But then Emma Peel don't want to fly. So I'm like, okay, well, how are we going to go to Vegas or LA and you don't want to get on a plane? Well, that's good, Shorty's World. Any good news is good news, whether you put it out there or not. So I'm glad you got your good news. Trisha, please don't tell me there's another strand. I can't be bothered with this coronavirus shit because it's getting on my nerves. I ain't taking no train. You know how long that is? Oh, no, 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 no. That's fine. I, I ain't scared to fly. Yes, our show comes back on tomorrow, James Setter. James Setter, you're going to have to email me so we could talk about it. Yep, I got somewhere to be. If a plane get me there in 4 hours and a train get me there in 12, I'm jumping on a plane. Whichever is the quickest. I know, Tyrone. I saw that. I saw that. I like, it's just, I don't know what I want to do. I know I want to do a cruise, but I'm not, I mean, unless something magically happens between now and June, then so be it. But right now, and then it can't magically happen like that because you need time to pay for a cruise because I ain't just got it like that. But Melissa, that's what I want to do. But I need to find out from El Manning like where to stay because Vegas have too many places to stay. And like I just don't. I want like the best hotel. I want someplace good. I want someplace good, but I'm not trying to spend $5,000 for a couple of days in a hotel. I'm not trying to do that. I mean, I can't do it. If it ain't a car or a plane, you ain't gonna find me on a bus or a train, especially not a bus. I guess if I had to do the train, I would, but it ain't gonna be my first option.
I
It
don't
is
like
not,
taking the train.
huh?
I don't like taking the train.
It's Fox Soul or Madison should be on.
She lied. She lied.
Oh, then it didn't come on. It come on at a different time. Cause she said she ain't know what time it was coming on in different places.
Say it's on. Unless this is it.
Yes, y'all. So y'all, I am gonna get out of here. I just wanted to bless y'all with this one little live and do my little thing. Cause like I said, it was on my spirit. And we will talk. Like I said, we won't be on every day. Oh, Tyrone said they moved it to next Tuesday.
What?
Maddie show.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know who these queens are.
Queens. Yeah. It's probably that, our kind of people. But anyway, y'all, I will talk to you again soon. Like I said, just be on the lookout because though we said we not coming on every day, you never know when one of us will get an urge and want to go live, like I did today. So, with that being said, you still can follow us on all social media platforms. We're still there. I still post on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and maybe sometimes here on YouTube. Before until we come back fully. But anyway, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And if you want to become part of the McCray King's Kingdom, hit that join button. And check out the boutique. New things are coming in a few days in the boutique. And make sure you check out any and everything McCray Kings. Make sure if you have us in Spotify, make sure you do something because we are going to go back to making podcasts and we are in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are in all of those. So make sure that you subscribe to us in Spotify so you know when we drop new podcasts. I say Spotify because most people have that for the free music. And you can just check us out. I believe we're Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. Anywhere podcasts can be heard, I believe we are there. So, y'all, I appreciate y'all staying with me for this amount of time, as usual. And if nobody tells you they love you today, know that I do. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I hope you learned something from what I talked about today. Somebody needed to hear what I said if it wasn't one of you in the chat. And James said to make sure you email me tomorrow so we could talk about our show. And is it tomorrow or is it next week? Is you sure it's not next week, James said? Well, whenever it is, just email me and we can go back and forth about the show. Yes, Melissa, you know what it is. It's Team McCray all damn day. Love you. Love y'all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.